Greetings, Marcus Melnick with Firearm Mentor. As you know, I'm extremely passionate about firearms and training, and I really am an educator. I also am the regional chair or regional director, or whatever you want to call it, of the Northwest Suburban chapter of Guns Save Life. We have started meeting in the fall, and we've had some fabulous speakers. If you look at some of my other videos, I'm starting to record them. Some great information, and this video is about a concealed carry permit holder who was involved in a self-defense incident. So he is going to cover what happened in court, and how he is fighting to get back his firearm rights after he was cleared of all wrongdoing. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you very much. I understand this is in a room with a meeting room. There are people talking, there are paper shuffling. If you can see past that, it was really a great presentation. Thank you very much, and once again, Marcus Melnick, Firearm Mentor. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Thank you. Or suggestions for future videos, please let me know. Thank you.
I have more. It's not a fun story. I'll try to make that way. So on one sunny afternoon, that was not a joke, that was a nice day. I had to drive to a park in my neighborhood where my kids were playing with their nanny to drop off some stuff for them to play with. And on the way there, I got involved in I'll say a road rage incident that I wasn't the initiator of. So it ended up with the other driver pinning me to the side of the road and pointing at me, screaming at me, and threatening me, basically. So I don't think I was a really good student to Marcus. I'm a much better shooter than I am a learner. I presented my gun to the guy because I did feel, I think, justifiably that he was threatening. However, well, we'll return back to that particular point. So the guy drove off, screamed at me, "Ah, you got a gun, you piece of shit," and he drove off. And I continued on my way to the park where my kids were.
You didn't call 911?
We'll get back to that. Thanks for the question. Yes, those are the lessons learned. There's a lessons learned section. Yeah, literally within minutes, I had 3 local PD cruisers surround me. They were polite. I was polite. There was no physical altercation. They asked me if I was in an incident. I said yes. They asked me what happened. That was another mistake that I made. Again, lesson learned section. I told them the version of the story, and that ended up having handcuffs placed on my wrists, being put in the police car in front of my children, and driven to the local station where, you know, I had my mugshot taken and charges filed against me for a misdemeanor, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It's a fun one. It's not a felony, but it's misdemeanor A is not anything to joke about.
Which police department?
Skokie. They're friendly, very friendly, very professional. So my wife bailed me out about an hour later. I went home. Within 48 hours, I had a letter from Illinois State Police saying that my FOID and CCL have been revoked, and I had another 48 hours to dispossess of all the firearms and ammunition feeding devices that I had in my possession. So, thank that guy. He has a garage full. He needs an extra safe now. So I contacted, I see a shirt, USCCA, which I had been a member of for probably a good 4 or 5 years by then. And that's where I started getting bad news. Like the previous stuff wasn't bad news. This started to become bad news. Describe the situation. The USCCA representatives were very polite. They took my information down. They said, well, our adjuster will call you. And then they called me and they said that USCCA or the underwriter, the insurance company that USCCA, I don't know if you know, or Delta Defense that owns them, are not an insurance company. They're an insurance broker for a, can't even remember what insurance company. And those folks very politely but very firmly declined to represent or provide for my defense. So now, so I asked Marcus. Marcus actually called them because he was, at the time, he was their sales rep, and tried to plead my case, and they gave you some BS story about privacy and all of that. And so I had to find the money for my own defense. Marcus recommended an attorney, Steve Fagan, if anyone ever needs one. Is a criminal defense attorney, near North Side, Park Ridge, Skokie City. Great guy, very brutal, very straightforward, straight to the point, not extremely expensive. He's actually one of the, what are they called, the premium members on USCCA list. He's actually on their list. Great guy. He got the charges dismissed on in the second court session. The first one was just to establish the charges. The next one was a month later. That's 2 months of me living off of Tums, pretty much, and not sleeping, and cheeseburgers. This all came from there. I was young and beautiful before that, and very athletic. So Steve got me off. Charges were dismissed, no prejudice, but dismissed outright. Happy boy me, go to the FSB FOID portal, tried to get my cards back, and apply for FOID button is there. They say click it if it's there, so I clicked it. Within 2 weeks, I get a letter saying that my application was rejected based on a provision that's called clear and present danger. Apparently the local PD gets involved in those cases. I call my attorney, I go, here's the deal. He goes, yeah, that's gonna happen. We need to clear your record. So I have to pay more money to get my record cleared. So the expungement order took about 9 months to come through, cost me about $1,000. I don't know.
That's pretty reasonable.
It's pretty reasonable, but it's still $1,000 more than I wanted to spend on all this shit. Pardon me. And so now I'm in this limbo. I don't even know how to go about. So I need to getting my creds back, my CCL, my FOID, because there's you have to go through the appeal process. That's not an easy process to go through with the director, with ISP.
Have you contacted your state rep and state senator, assuming they're not rabid anti-gunners, to
I
help
live
you?
in Skokie.
Oh, my apologies. There's still hope. Contact Chris Miller or Dan Calkins or Brad Hallbrook. See me after the meeting and I'll help you with some info. They will help you with people who aren't their constituents. And if the state police get calls from a state rep or state senator inquiring about somebody, that puts them at the top of the list. If they get calls from 2 or 3 state reps or senators inquiring about the same individual, that really gets you to the top of the list for some extra special attention, usually in a positive way.
Oh, I saw Vince Romano walking around there. I was really hoping
He did not win his election, so he cannot help you.
Yeah, I know. I was really hoping.
I have a question for you. I don't know if you can answer it, maybe someone else can answer it wrong.
Go for it.
Does your wife have a void card?
At this point, she does. She didn't.
Okay, just
There are some serious lessons that I've learned, and they're not good lessons. I mean, they're good lessons to learn, but one is keep it in your pants unless you're going to use it. I didn't. The plan in my head was not shoot the guy. I wanted to show him the gun to scare him, and that's, for one, that's illegal. It's called brandishing. That's the misdemeanor. For 2, it's stupid. And also because it was brandishing, I'm pointing at you because you got the shirt on. The people who denied me, the policy that you signed when you paid the money to USCCA actually states that if you are charged with any crime or misdemeanor, felony or misdemeanor, but it doesn't have a self-defense, you were in a self-defense situation, you're not covered. brandishing is not a self-defense situation. So that's lesson number one. If I had pointed the gun at the guy, and told him I was going to shoot him, it would have been a self-defense situation. I didn't, because I'm a kind, nice, polite person. That's not a joke, but that guy's laughing, you know. I don't like violence. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't like violence. I don't like to receive it. Don't like to give it away. So I want peace. I want love. I want friendship. I want everyone to smile at each other and, you know, dance with flowers. Please don't. So I didn't want to threaten a guy's life. It's kind of against my beliefs. I don't like to threaten people's lives. But in that case, I was wrong. I wouldn't have been threatening his life. He threatened my life. It would have been a just response. Morally, ethically, kind or unkind. It was all of that. So lesson number one, make sure it's a self-defense situation and not a crime or a misdemeanor. Well, misdemeanor is a crime, it's not a felony, under the local law. Lesson number two, shut the fuck up. I mean it in the strongest possible terms. Don't talk to the cops. They're not your friends. As I think it was Tom Segura's stand-up, you're gonna do 10 to life. Don't talk to them. You're not an attorney. They know how to ask questions. They know how to make you incriminate yourself. They're not evil. It's just that's how they're trained. They try to do a good job. They're not your friends. So if they do a good job, you're not going to be happy in that situation. So that's lesson number two. Lesson number three, call 911 first. If the other guy does it, you're fucked. That's it. You're the aggressor. Immediately. Your story is the story of trying to justify a crime versus a story of being a potential victim of a crime. They're trying to defend your life. And the other guy being the aggressor. It's simple math. They call 911 first. They have a quicker dialing motion. You're the criminal. So that's a big lesson. Lesson number two, lesson number whatever it is, plus one from the last one, is don't think your insurance company is going to help you. They might, but they have lawyers. They don't like paying money. Their job is not to pay money. Their job is to collect money and try not to pay. Read your policies, understand your policies. That's a very important lesson. That's a lesson that cost me about $3,000 so far. Not a lot of money, but again, that's $3,000 out of my kid's college fund, for example, or nicer couch maybe, but better TV. It's just the money I didn't want to waste. No. And again, buyer beware. I thought really poorly of them and spoke really badly of them, but no one called the proverbial gun to my head and told me, hey, don't read this. It's going to be fine. No, we've all bought insurance policies, car, whatever. And there's always that oh, how fast were you driving? Oh, 1 mile over the speed limit? Yeah, I don't know if we can cover that. Doesn't change whether if it's health insurance, self-defense insurance, life insurance, it doesn't matter. They're in the business of managing risks and making money, not protecting. So read your policies, know what's covered. Don't think they're going to be there when you need them. They might, if you're lucky, and it's great if they are there when you need them, but don't expect them to be. John?
I think we all have to know ability, opportunity, and jeopardy religiously, and if you're not there, the gun should be the last thought on your mind. I've had a couple of road rage incidents in the last year. I seem to be a road rage magnet for some reason. I just had one a few weeks ago, going to the school to get my kids, and the guy boxed me in so I couldn't get out. And my first instinct, frankly, was to either ram his car out of the way or go to guns, bail out of the car and start shooting. And I thought, whoa, you need to calm down here. Well, because how's this going to go to the state's attorney?
I went to step number one, but not to step number two.
Yeah, I got the dash cam, I got the whole 9 yards here, and I thought, no, pick up the phone, call 911. I picked up the phone, called 911, and he saw me with the phone to my face, and he knew I wasn't calling my dearly departed mom. And he drove away, and that was the end of it. 911 came on, I told him what happened, gave him a suspect car description, said he's driven away now, but I just wanted to call and let you guys report it, but it's over now, so. But he who calls 911 first is presumed to be the victim, not the aggressor.
Right.
But like you said, if you're the second one to call, you are toast.
So one more story, and I'm going to let you move on with your lives. A few years ago, I took a concealed carry class with Marcus. Great class. Well, I'm sure you don't need to take a concealed carry class, but if you need to recertify, call that guy. He doesn't. They're not most exciting content classes. He makes them at least not deadly boring.
Thank you, I think.
That's quite a...
Well, I mean, you can only do so much with the material. You talk about law and going to jail and killing people, so in self-defense, or those are not fun topics. So he at least makes it not boring. Very interactive, good classes. So endorsement to Marcus.